is an active news item. Alphabet the day after, still a news item. What's interesting is, well, it just missed a little on the revenue and earnings, and the market ignored that last night in after hours, even with the commitment of the $70 billion stock buyback it's anticipating. And I'm wondering if a lot of that has to do with the YouTube growth that was slowing and echoing what's been going on with Netflix.
Yeah.
What is happening on that front? Are these type of, systems that are built on a lot of subscribers cooling off?
Yeah, and this is interesting for a company like Google, right? How do they innovate? YouTube's been around for quite a while. Now you've got a company like TikTok that comes on the scene and is really stealing user growth from YouTube. But if you spend any time on YouTube and TikTok, they're two very different platforms. Right? YouTube is longer form videos, informational. TikTok is 1 minute or less videos. I mean, my daughters are Bella and Sophie, they're 3 and 5. They will sit on YouTube and watch videos of a little kid opening a toy. They literally have the toy, but they watch a little kid opening the toy. It's just a different platform, right? And so I think they're going to have to figure out how to innovate this. But I still think Google, I mean, Neil, if you just look at it from owning, we own Google, full disclosure, we own it. I like the stock. It's trading at 21 times earnings. It's got a wide competitive moat. It's #1 in online sales. I think it captures close to 30% of all online advertising sales, which is huge. Price to book, trading at 6 times price to book. I think from an investment standpoint, regardless of what we just saw yesterday, I still like owning Google. I think they're going to figure this out. They're going to figure out how to innovate on the YouTube side. But still, if you're a business and you want to get a video out, you're going to YouTube. You're not going on TikTok. Why? Because anything you post on YouTube will search and link up with a Google search. And so this is why when they own the search and they own the video capability, that's very powerful.
Then why don't investors see that? Why don't investors see that? I get what you're saying, David, and you're right about that. But you'd think that the day after that would be reflected in the stock, at least today, or part of it. It's not.
Yeah, Google's held up throughout the year, unlike a lot of the other names, which is good. But the stock's also up 90% in the last 2 years. We're naturally going to see some profit taking, and then you add in all the other issues that are affecting tech right now. This is to be expected, but I'm telling you, for our listeners right now, our viewers, this is a buying opportunity. I would, if you want to own a good name over the next few years that's going to drive growth, earnings growth, and revenue is still up close to 30%. This is not a dying company. This is a growing company, despite what we're seeing.
But what about that growth momentum? You talk about 34% of the latest quarter. It was, or 20-something percent of the latest quarter. It had been running at a 34% clip in the first quarter. Wasn't the street seizing on that as well, that maybe momentum is slowing?
Well, if you just take the Europe scenario, there's always black swans. Europe, Ukraine, Russia's issue.
Right.
That puts some pressure on advertising for Google. So when we see these one-time geopolitical events that are really black swans, it can affect corporate earnings. I think we're going to see that for a lot of these names that have exposure over there. So I think it's an opportunity there. I think that's why we saw slowing growth. It had more to do with these black swan issues that the world is facing right now. The world's changing in front of our eyes, but I don't think this is a long-term issue for Google, Neil.
Well, David, you have a great track record, so worth noting. David Nicholas and Nicholas Wealth Management.